Hello, my name is Cynthia Killingsworth. I'm an accounting instructor at Portland Community College and also the founder of Accountlandia. We recently had a networking event, a virtual networking event at Portland Community College. It went really well. We had quite a few students attending, wonderful guests from our community. The sad part of it was that there were a lot of people that weren't able to attend. So I started thinking about more information that I would want to share relating to engaging with your accounting career and decided to do this video, not only to help people that attended the event, but especially for the people that couldn't attend. And I think the key theme to this information I'm going to share is engage with your accounting career early as possible. It allows you to build more of your network, it builds your skills, it builds your confidence, everything. And it just will give you such a return on your investment. So what I'm showing on the screen is hopefully where you found this video, if you didn't find it on YouTube, was through our Accountlandia newsletter. And you can see it here, the different pages that are in it. And on the first page, you'll see an opportunity to subscribe to the newsletter if you aren't already. So I encourage everyone to do that. Also, there's an Accountlandia site that's referenced on that newsletter, and there's a menu here, and you'll see there's a comprehensive list of resources. Some of the things that I'll refer to today, you'll always see our up-to-date newsletter on the homepage, but also links to prior newsletters and podcasts. So there's 7 podcast episodes. The final one is from me, but the rest of them are interviews, often with alumni talking about different aspects of accounting and their experiences. So I will reference that today. And in several other sites on our pages on this Accountlandia site. As a former revenue agent and special agent with the IRS, and also a CPA that worked in public accounting for many years that specialized in tax, I do have an affinity to tax, and you'll hear me focus in on that, but I don't think it's just because of my experience. Hopefully I'll make an argument about some of the early engagement opportunities are in tax, and that even if that ends up not being your focus for your career, it's something that you can gain your confidence with, put on your resume, start building your network with. So those are some of the opportunities that I'll talk about today. And the reason why I want to encourage people to do that is that there are a lot of opportunities coming open in tax. And here's some of the reasons why, and also where the accounting career may be going, and not just tax. 75% of accountants are expected to retire in the next 10 years. That is shocking. And I think some of them are hanging on longer than they expected just because of labor shortages. And a lot of things that you'll hear in the news are relating to the big accounting firms. Like you'll hear layoffs at some of the big firms right now. And I encourage people not to be limited by what you're hearing at the big firms, because it's entirely different what we're experiencing in accounting, not only in public accounting, in the mid-size and small firms, but also accounting positions with internal with companies and government and nonprofits. There's a pretty strong shortage of accountants right now in all those areas, and it's expected to get more challenging. So don't read the headlines, dig a little deeper to find out the whole story about that. And also, accounting and tax continues to get more and more complex. And as AI gets involved, yes, it's going to do some basic work for us and help us compile data, things like that. But we still need humans with higher level skills. So I think what the accounting industry is really encouraging people to understand is this is an opportunity for higher paid positions for people to be involved with. And going back to the income tax, both paid and volunteer positions are available to community college level students, early on in your accounting career. This is where often you can get your access to the accounting community and gaining experience, either through internships or summer tax season work, those kind of things. But also these kind of experiences are what opens the doors later on to you for higher level internships, scholarships, and eventually those big higher paying jobs. I recently met with a local accounting firm in Vancouver, Washington, that specializes in income tax preparation. I heard several comments that I think are really encouraging. I was so excited to hear them and hopefully inspire you to start engaging with your accounting career now. One was when we see someone with volunteer income tax preparation experience, which I'll talk about a little bit later, we want them because we know they have solid skills and abilities. They were unequivocal about that. They just are really impressed by that. And also that at what level do you need to know income tax? At our firm, we only need interns to know individual income tax, including for sole proprietor businesses. So I'll talk about our tax classes and how they prepare you to meet this very well. Also, they really encourage students when they're filling out applications for internships or full-time jobs with them. And I think this would apply to all accounting positions. Please let us know the computer applications you have learned. We love Excel skills, experience using professional tax preparation software, and QuickBooks, and anything else you have. Call out how much you've done with these applications in your resume and cover letter. If you have some projects that you've done, some things you were particularly proud of, add a little extra detail to show them that you just didn't just learn it, you used it. Also, this firm said we love enrolled agents and help our new employees get this certification if they aren't going for the CPA. This firm I found pays for the EA review course and exam fees, and that's kind of typical with firms. And not all firms have the same. We'll talk about enrolled agent certification in just a minute too, but not all firms hire as many enrolled agents, but we're seeing an increasing number that do for their tax specialists because of labor shortages. And they know that enrolled agents have proved their competence through getting the certification. Also, I heard them say we would love to see intern applications from PCC students. We offer a 20-hour-a-week tax season, which is winter term internships that would allow students to continue their education and or maintain existing employment. I'll talk about this later too. So they were just talking about how that 20-week internship instead of 40 hours or something or more, how they limit it really opens doors to you being able to continue your coursework. And if you have another job that you critically need to hang on to, maybe that's going to give you more opportunities to do that, to juggle. You're going to be busy, but juggle that. And I think this was a funny add-on. If you see these Vancouver positions, a lot of people say, oh, no, that's across the I-5 bridge or the 205 bridge. I don't want to deal with the traffic. And they joked and said, if you work in Vancouver and live on the Oregon side, the traffic is all in your favor. It's pretty wide open. So I thought that was an important point. All right, so let me dig down a little bit and talk more about how to get prepared for taxes and some of the certification. So we teach two classes at tax classes at PCC, BA 256 and 290. So BA 256 is our normal tax class, just as part of the accounting degrees and certificates. It's 3 credits right now. It's moving to 4 credits next year. You'll learn all about federal individual income taxes, but there's a chapter on sole proprietors, Schedule Cs. The textbook does include corporate and partnership, but we do a little bit in the partnership, but don't go into the corporate so much. But it is available to you and you have it there to study it. But you will learn about sole proprietors, and also you'll get experience using professional level tax preparation software, preparing 8 tax returns, which is pretty extensive. So that's something that you can call out on a resume. Hey, in this class, I used this professional tax software and did 8 returns. I also teach our BA 290 course, which is tax preparation. It's an 8 credit course and it can be substituted for 256. You just ask an advisor to do that for all our accounting degrees and certificates. It teaches the federal law, like I talked about, but also the Oregon tax law and prepare rules. The goal of this class is to prepare students and qualify students to be able to take the Oregon Licensed Tax Preparer exam, which is required for all preparers in Oregon that aren't licensed as or getting licensed as CPAs or an attorney. So this is also a really powerful thing. If you can take this class and pass this exam, you show you're ready to go as a tax preparer for individual tax returns. All right, I mentioned volunteer income tax assistance, and I want to highlight on the screen Cash Oregon. First of all, volunteer income tax assistance, also known as VITA, is a national program sponsored by the IRS that takes place each October through January. They train volunteers on the tax law and how to do tax preparation in this volunteer environment. And then during tax season, February through April 15th, so during the winter, the volunteers prepare low-income and senior members of their community prepare their tax returns for free. And we have a really wonderful, well, first of all, let me say, you don't just go out and start preparing them. You're part of a clinic, a VITA clinic, and you're highly supported by other volunteers that have worked in the program for years. They're reviewing their work, they're helping you, they understand you're learning, they're really supportive. I cannot say enough about this environment, and I'll talk about how you can hear from some other people about this. So we have a really wonderful program in the Portland area called MFS Cash Oregon. And they run a lot of our, not all of them, but a lot of our clinics in the Portland area and do all the training. And they love students so much so that through the state of Oregon, they got some grant money to pay student interns during tax season. So that's something that I'll share with Accountlandia when those applications come open, where you can get some money for being a volunteer, which is amazing. You get paid for being a volunteer. And if you go to this site and go to the volunteer tab, there's a lot of information on it, on that site. But here are the positions. You can do the whole thing and become a tax preparer. If you want to take a lighter dose on that, you can be an intake person, a client facilitator. Also, interpreters are really valued, and they have some outreach opportunities. Down at the bottom, they talk about the volunteer requirements, what you have to do. But this is what I really want you and encourage you to do. Even if you're not sure about this, sign up to volunteer. It's not a commitment. They're just going to put you on their email list and then let you know when the training is starting to get ready for that. I'm on their list, and they don't. they're not asking me why I didn't show up each year, but it just puts you on their calendar to let you know when opportunities come open. So really encourage people to get involved on that. With that, a lot of information on their site. Also, I did a series, I mentioned when we were looking at the Countlandia site that there's podcasts. And one of the podcasts I did was with 2 PCC students that were interns in the first year that they had the internship with Cash Oregon. So they got paid. And they talk about their experience, Rex and Naomi. And it is really inspiring to hear what they have to say about it, a lot more than anything that I could say. So I really encourage you to go to that. I'm showing you can find it on our website, or you can just go to Apple Podcasts and just type in Accountlandia, and you will see all 7 of those series, and I'll refer to one of them later. All right. The other thing that I mentioned with the Vancouver firm, and I'm hearing a lot more firms talk about, is becoming an enrolled agent. So enrolled agent certification. And we're seeing more and more people more and more employers that are talking about the role of enrolled agents with their firms for income tax. And it's also really encouraging to PCC students that want to work while they're continuing their education, because you don't have to have a college degree to become certified. It's a matter of preparing for the exam, which is not easy, but there are review courses and things to help you do that. So I'm showing the site on Accountlandia relating to enrolled agent certifications. So there's a lot of links to the National Association of Enrolled Agents about what enrolled agent certification is, where you can work, and then how you can become an enrolled agent without a degree. Also, that there's free student membership for 2 years for students with the National Association of Enrolled Agents. And they have scholarships for review courses for preparing for the exam, and also the fees for taking the exams. So make sure that, I think they come open 3 times a year. They have certain seasons that they make those scholarships open. So check that on the website. Here's the information to the scholarship. And they talk about Surgeon as their review company or provider. But I also heard of one from the Vancouver firm talking about Fast Forward Academy, which had some really, if you're not going to be doing the scholarship, had some really affordable options for review courses. So they also have an outline about how to get certified as an enrolled agent. It's just a one-page thing, and then some pricing options. All right. And I also talk about, if you go the enrolled agent route, you get to kind of skip part of the Oregon tax preparer's exam and just go to the Oregon law. So it's a really nice route to certification in Oregon if you're wanting to go all the way like that, which is really has more power than just the Oregon tax preparer certification. So do check that out. Let me know if you have any questions. I love to help people sort this out. It can be a little confusing at first. All right, so I did focus a lot on taxes here. And the reason why, again, is I think it's a way that you can access the accounting profession earlier in your educational journey, and that it can be really powerful on your resume, regardless of where you want to go, because it shows you're serious about your career, you have a commitment to it, you have aptitude for accounting and complex topics involved in accounting and income tax. And as I mentioned earlier, these early investments will have quite a return on investment down the road. So really looking forward to you checking these out. Cash Oregon in particular, I'm a huge fan of. I have quite a few students that talk about, say, it was the most impactful thing they did to jumpstart their accounting career. I have 2 students that now own their own CPA firms. Not everyone goes that route, but they talk about how that gave them confidence. It gave them, again, something they can put on their resume that impress employers. All right, other ways that you can engage in your accounting career. Internships. So internships, I know, can be somewhat challenging for a lot of our PCC students. Over half of you have to fully support yourself, and so you need to keep your work. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some options for navigating that. Again, here is the page on Accountlandia. I'll also link this on our newsletter, all these links that I'm showing, so you can find them. And this is information about, the power of internships. I have an article here. It's a little bit older, but it's timeless. And then also a link through to the PCC Career Center for internships. This particular page on Accountlandia has some more general career information, and also who our career specialists are for business students, and where the career centers are in each campus and what they offer. So really cannot encourage enough talking to these folks and getting some help, because they can help you with your resume, your cover letter, finding work, how to prepare for your interview, just an incredible amount of information. Also, there's a slideshow on internships. One thing I want to talk about that is particularly interesting for our internship. So BA 280 is the course. It's A and B. A is the internship itself. B is the seminar. You can earn up to 12 credits through internship, 12 academic credits through an internship. And so how that would translate to hours. So for example, the tax firm that I talked for about across the river, they said their internships were 20 hours per week. And so 20 hours would translate to 7 academic credits over that term. So you would have to work a lot more, about 35 hours to get up to the 12 credits. But if you were only working 20 for an internship, you could get 7 academic credits. That'd be a long way towards if you had were on financial aid, meeting the requirements of financial aid, and maybe allowing you to continue your own work at the same time. Maybe you aren't even taking coursework other than your internship that term, just doing the internship and then being able to keep your own job. So some different possibilities. I really highly recommend talking through them with the career specialist, Amy and Emily, and they can help you navigate all that and make it really straightforward for you. So the other thing I want to talk about are scholarships. Not only do they provide you financial resources, but also they are a great thing to show in your resume, because they're going to show to an employer that someone else invested money in you and believed in you, and you must have done something special to earn that. So this page that I'm showing here is the PCC Accountlandia site again, the website that I put together, the page referring to scholarships. And one thing I really want to tell you is that you have support in filling out these applications. There are scholarship workshops, there's an application guide, there's a CG class. There's a lot of opportunities for help. If you're involved in any special programs at PCC, often they have people that help you with applying for scholarships, how to find them. And the sad thing is that, particularly at the community college level, students don't think that they're deserving of them, and they don't apply for them. I've talked to the Oregon Society of CPAs, and they say, at the university level, we see people apply, but we have a really light application. And these are $1,000 scholarships to the Oregon Society of CPAs. And I think people just get intimidated. They haven't built their confidence, but start. These are really powerful. Don't take out student loans when you can get a scholarship. That frees up money later on for you to enjoy your life after you get out of college, instead of paying back so much student loans. So really want people to believe in themselves and get the help to do this. Also, some of them ask for recommendations, and your faculty should be there to help you. I hear some faculty don't do them, but a lot do. I do them. People that you've built connections with, that's really an important part of your early networking, is to build relationships with your faculty where you talk to them. Set up a Zoom meeting with them if they're willing to do that. Meet with them in person, get to know them, let them get to know you. And they can be a really powerful reference for things like scholarships, internships, things like that. So that's an important part of networking. All right, another thing I want to talk about for early engagement is, so we did have a networking event, a virtual networking event we do each spring at PCC, but there are also these career fairs, and there will be several of them coming up in the fall that I'll be mentioning on Accountlandia, the Oregon Society of CPAs, Portland State University, and also some firms do their own career nights where they bring people in to see what they do and network with them. And the firm I met with in Vancouver has one coming up on October 17th that I will make special attention to call out on Accountlandia. And I am really hoping to start going to some of these this fall and joining you there. I need you to join me to go there. So I was just hoping if I'm going and some other PCC accounting faculty are going, that would inspire more people to come along with us. So stay tuned. We will be sharing more information about that when we come back fall term. So what is a career fair? PSU has some really great information about that on their accounting and finance site for students. Tons of information there. So this is just the page about career fairs, but if you go over here, you're going to see tons of additional information PSU has about a lot of things, how to write a resume, how to interview, how to find jobs, all those kind of things, preparing for an internship. This one in particular is how to prepare for an accounting career fair and what to do when you're there. So what you do before and then what you do there. And what I say to accounting students at a community college level, you're not ready for your big job yet. You're just starting your networking. So don't put a lot of pressure on yourself. You're just there to explore at this point. If something more happens, that's great. I heard a student say they found out about a scholarship and applied for it and got it at a career fair. So some amazing things can happen there. And I just want you to experiment with it and to give it a try. So I will be presenting more information about that. And also another podcast with Tasneem, who is a PCC alumni. She's getting ready to finish up at Portland State. She is a master of networking. And so I did a podcast with her, the very first podcast, talking about networking and how she went about it, how she got multiple internships, she got scholarships, and how she went about it. And she loves coming back for our event. She came to our networking event that we had recently and is really inspiring. All right, that is all I have. And I hope that all this information was helpful and inspiring. And most of all, I hope it convinces you to start making some plans. When I'm recording this, we're moving towards summer. You're going to have some time in summer to think about things and to start putting things on your calendar, set some goals, write them down, start committing to them, whether it's doing Cash Oregon or going to a career fair, any of those kind of things. I really want to encourage you to do that, and also to reach out and talk to me if you have questions or you just want to talk. I would love it. So please do that. My contact information is on the newsletter. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on there, so that's a great way to reach out to me. We can set up a Zoom meeting or have some coffee. Would love to do that. So thank you.